Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westband Cable Channel 12, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. Today's banner and press is dated Friday, November 13th, 2020. And the big headline is COVID-19 Code Red. Effective immediately, Manitoba is shutting down. On Tuesday, November the 10th, Premier Brian Pallister and Dr. Brent Roussin, Manitoba's Chief Provincial Public Health Officer, announced that as of 12:01 a.m. on Thursday, November the 12th, the province will move to the critical level of red on the Restart Manitoba pandemic response system. These tougher new restrictions are in response to the ongoing increase in daily COVID-19 cases in the province. We are at a critical point in our fight against COVID-19, and we must do everything we can to protect our most vulnerable Manitobans and ensure our healthcare system is there for Manitobans when they need it, said Pallister. He said this is a team effort, and we all have a role to play in protecting ourselves, our loved ones, and our community. By taking these measures seriously, we are going to save lives. Non-essential retail stores, gyms, movie theaters, salons, and churches will close. All recreational facilities and sports activities will be shut down, said Dr. Roussin. But schools and child care centers will remain open. Non-essential travel is also being discouraged. We are truly at a crossroads in our fight against this pandemic, Roussin said. We need to turn these COVID-19 numbers around, and we need to turn them around now. The widespread closures may be in effect for up to 4 weeks or 2 incubation periods of the virus, Roussin said. Under the provincial code red level, effective as of November the 12th at 12:01 a.m., the following measures are now in place. Gathering sizes. Social contacts must be reduced to members of your household only. For restaurants and bars, all must close to the general public, with services available through takeout and delivery only. For retail, any retail businesses on the list of critical services may remain open at 25% capacity. Examples of critical services include businesses related to maintaining supply chains, providing retail and wholesale services, including food or household consumer goods necessary for the safety, sanitation, or operation of residences and businesses, such as grocery stores, supermarkets, convenience stores, butcher shops, bakeries, markets, and hardware stores. Businesses that provide personal protective equipment or protective clothing for use in the workplace. Businesses that provide essential goods and services for the health and well-being of animals. Gas stations and fuel companies, office supply and service businesses, computer products and related repair and maintenance services, and businesses that hold a retail liquor license, a manufacturer's license, or a retail cannabis license. Providing accommodations, providing institutional, residential, commercial, and industrial maintenance, supporting telecommunications and information technology, providing transportation services, manufacturing and production, supporting agriculture and food production services, construction, finance, including banks, credit unions, and other financial services, natural resources services, environmental services, utilities and public works, health care, seniors care, and social services, and legal services and regulatory services. All other retail businesses are limited to e-service, curbside pickup, or delivery. For schools, no change noted. Blended learning, which is in class and online for grades 9 to 12, where distancing cannot be achieved, will continue as per status quo. Kindergarten to grade 8 students may be offered a temporary remote learning option for the duration of the restricted level orange. All other public health measures are still in effect. Schools are advised to ensure as much physical distancing as possible. Cohorts or remote blended learning is required when this is not possible. For healthcare system, where non-urgent and elective surgeries and or procedures may be impacted, patients will be contacted directly if their scheduled appointments or procedures are affected. Patients who are not contacted should show up to their appointments as scheduled. Inpatient visitation to hospitals or health centers will be suspended, with exceptions made on a case-by-case basis for patients receiving end-of-life care in labor and delivery, as well as in pediatrics. Designated family caregivers may continue to visit personal care homes. General visitation may be suspended, with exceptions in place for end-of-life care. General visitation to outdoor visitation shelters will be implemented once operational. For sports and recreation, all recreational facilities, group sports, arcades, bowling, etc. are suspended. All indoor and outdoor sport facilities closed. Day camps, day and theater classes, dance and theater classes closed. For gyms and fitness, all must close. Casinos and VLTs, all must close. Museums, galleries, and libraries, all must close. One-time or occasional outdoor events, no social gatherings permitted. Social contacts must be limited to household members only. For movie theaters and concert halls, all must close. For community, cultural, and religious gatherings, all must close or provide services virtually. For personal services, all sites must close, including hair salons, barbers, and sites offering manicures, pedicures, and other aesthetic services. For therapeutic care, regulated professions and massage therapists can continue to provide services. For weddings and funerals, limited to 5 people, socially distanced, plus an officiant. For film productions must cease. Additional COVID cases identified in local schools. 2 more cases of COVID-19 have appeared at schools within the Beautiful Plains School Division. The first new COVID case was identified on November the 4th at the Twilight Colony School. In a letter sent to parents and guardians on the matter, it stated that Twilight Colony School is working closely with public health officials and following their recommendations. The second case was confirmed at Neepawa Middle School on Sunday, November the 8th. For the case within the Neepawa Middle School, the investigation has determined that the infectious person was in the middle school on November 3rd and 4th. Based on the public health investigation, the exposure at the school was thought to be low risk, with the infection not believed to have been acquired at the school. Close contacts connected to the case have been identified and advised to self-isolate. Anyone who is in close contact has already received a letter or phone call from public health. A pair of COVID-19 cases within the Beautiful Plains School Division were also announced last week. One was located at Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute, and the other discovered at Hazel M. Kellington School in Neepawa. None of these schools are permitted to release the name or any identifying information about the confirmed case of COVID-19 to any member of the school, community, or media. School bus safety not forgotten amid COVID-19. While the schools have continually assured parents that their facilities are being cleaned constantly, there's another part of the school day that might not get mentioned as often: the bus ride. Schools in Manitoba have been busy making sure all aspects of the school day are looked after, and bus rides are no exception. In the Beautiful Plains School Division, the superintendent, Jason Young, noted that COVID safety on the bus involves several measures, including sanitization. Our buses are being disinfected twice daily, once after the morning run and the second time after the afternoon run. Cleaning of our buses is being done by a real group effort. Our bus drivers are doing cleaning on a daily basis. We have disinfectant foggers made available to the drivers if they choose to use them. These fogging devices are maintained, filled, and kept operational by our custodial staff. We also have our bus maintenance garage doing periodic cleaning of our buses as they are serviced. In addition to several levels of cleaning, the division has also worked to get fewer students on the buses at one time to make physical distancing easier. Before the school year started, they put out a call to parents asking any of them who were able to consider driving their kids to school rather than having them ride the bus. Young noted that there were 30 families in the division who were able to accommodate the school's request, but for many it wasn't a viable option. The number of students riding the bus is lower than usual, Young said, but the vast majority of our students are still being transported. We have added one additional bus route to accommodate increased spacing. Currently, our buses are at capacity for the current guideline we are under. We have one student per seat, unless they are from the same household or the same in-school cohort. Young noted that as well as adding another bus route, they have also altered some routes and changed some start times in order to keep the congestion at drop-off points to a minimum. As with all our employee groups, our bus drivers, our transportation supervisor, and bus mechanics have been fantastic in stepping up, being extremely flexible and accommodating the needs we have had to adapt to during the pandemic, Young expressed. I cannot express my gratitude enough to our entire divisional team, our students, our families, our communities, and our staff for all they have done during this time of rapid change. Every single group I mentioned has taken on more responsibility. What's new at Carberry Plains Arts Council? The Carberry Plains Arts Council has been working hard to adapt their programming and projects to suit safety guidelines set by public health officials. The Arts Council website is www.carberryarts.ca. It has undergone a complete overhaul to include an Art at Home page with crafting ideas. Free kits are available through sign up at Carberry North Cypress Library, delivery within Carberry only. There is also work by two talented artists who have been creating some exciting work through the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of us have our words to communicate where we're at and how we feel about the world around us, and others, like Austin, Manitoba painter Melissa Perieski-Day, speak in images. There have been many changes to Melissa's life these past few years, learning to manage lupus and the limitations it's placed on her physical abilities and capacity for meeting daily challenges. Melissa has had to accept early retirement in order to give her health and family the attention that is needed. She struggles, as many of us do, with thoughts of what her goals and accomplishments could be if she had been able to continue her career. Her daily life is a constant battle of managing priorities as she struggles to keep the integrity of her quality of life. Art has been an outlet for Melissa, creating a space that is all her own, where she can channel her dreams, emotions, and give tribute to her influences and inspiration. Developing her skills as a painter has afforded her the focus beyond her immediate circumstance to transcend and be everything she desires without the limitations that daily life has imposed on her. Experiencing her work is very much like being transported to a universe that is all-consuming, with layers of detail that reveal themselves with each moment your eyes discover them. In the past, Melissa has done a lot of consignment work, which she will still do every once in a while, but primarily she paints for herself. And the next one is from northwestern Ontario. A media artist and musician named Vav Abraxas has been busy creating an episodic series called Wasp Odyssey, from the comforts of his home in Thunder Bay, adapting LOL figures to make a cast of colorful characters and using his musical prowess to create a score that transports you to a new level of consciousness. This socially aware piece covertly tackles issues such as normalcy bias, befriending people who are poison, fear versus walking into the line of fire. The captain and crew of the Wasp encounter a mysterious shell that appears on board the ship. Mayhem ensues as the captain is forced to confront the eye that watches with the help of his magic horse. Vox Abraxas has been programming music and playing live shows for 12 years. He's recently started merging into media inspired by the political climate brought to the surface by this pandemic. He has also released an album for his project called Lonely Sea Monster, called Archipelago, and is currently working as a Lonely Sea Monster Christmas album. Melissa Perieski Day's online pandemic art exhibition and Vov Abraxas Wasp Odyssey are currently hosted on the Carberry Plains Art Council website at www.carberryarts.ca. Helen Drysdale's Out of Helen's Kitchen episode this week is titled World War II. And there's a picture here. It is the EFTS number 35 air base located at what is now Neepawa's airport. When the Second World War started, Britain looked to the Dominions for training of the needed air crews. They lacked the space to accommodate training and operational facilities and were so exposed to enemy attack. Canada stepped up to the plate. It offered several advantages: closest to Britain, made for easier transportation of men and equipment, had lots of airspace, far from active fighting, and the ability to manufacture aircrafts with easy access to the US market for aircraft parts. Canada answered the call for help by establishing the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan, called the Plan. Across the nation, many schools were set up to train the men of the Air Force. In Manitoba, 24 such BCATP facilities were built in record speed, most operational in less than a year, and more responsible for training pilots, navigators, air gunners, wireless operators, and more. These training schools hosted men from New Zealand, Australia, and the United Kingdom, Canada, the United States, and to a lesser degree other allied countries. The war came soon after the Great Depression. The financial aspects of the BCATP were a huge bonus to the communities they came to. For Neepawa, construction began in September of 1941, and in early 1942 things were in operation. This construction generated many jobs, and when finished, over 200 civilians were hired to help feed the men and maintain and run the facilities. Businesses like coffee shops, bowling alleys, and dance arcades were booming, and the local young ladies had plenty of opportunities to attend these places of entertainment. 20 years ago, when Alan and I toured Scotland, we went to the towns his great-grandparents originally came from. Alan had a name that did not appear on the map. We stopped by a large old hotel in the countryside to inquire. The desk person directed us to an older gentleman having tea in the sitting room. We introduced ourselves, and he asked where we were from. We answered Canada. He gruffly asked, "Where in Canada?" And we answered Manitoba. Somewhat gruffer, he asked, "Well, where in Manitoba?" When we answered Neepawa, he smiled and replied that he spent time in Neepawa during the war training to be a pilot. He had fond memories of his time in Neepawa, the beautiful blue skies and the wheat fields he saw from the air. He commented that as the fields were harvested, the flyers' landmarks disappeared. What a small world. In the summer of 2016, I communicated with a gentleman from Australia. Originally from England, he had trained in Canada and had been stationed in Neepawa for a short time. He had written of his wartime adventures and wanted to send the Library and the Beautiful Plains Museum a copy of his book. In his book, he talks of the whiteouts in winter and he experienced during his time flying in Neepawa. His book can be borrowed from the Neepawa Library. The title is Bullfighters and Mosquitoes by Donald Jacobsen. Canada left an impression for those young men from other countries that lingers to this day. Should you get the chance, visit the Commonwealth Air Training Plan Museum in Brandon. It is the only museum in the world dedicated solely to the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan. The museum serves as a unique memorial to the men who trained and served and the ones who died for Allied victory in World War II. Vegetables were plentiful during the war years, as almost everyone grew a garden. Easy to grow carrots were very multi-purpose, used as veggies, and often found their way into many desserts. During the war's sugar rationing, my mother-in-law substituted honey, as her husband Wilfred was an apiarist, so honey was readily available to them. Today's recipes include both honey and the versatile carrot. One is honey carrot loaf, and the other is honey orange carrots. Student Spotlight, Annika Duguay. Annika Duguay, 17 years old, is Vice President of the Student Council and member of the 2021 Carberry Collegiate graduating class. Last year, she was co-president with Matthew Salin. An honor roll student, Annika has enjoyed playing the trumpet since grade 7 in the Carberry senior and jazz bands. She excels in several sports, but figure skating has been dominant for the last 8 years. Duguay has skated in many Canadian events, but the pinnacle would be the 2019 Canada Winter Games in Red Deer, Alberta. She practices for 2 hours 3 times a week with coach Tammy McKay, who has had a positive impact on her development along with parents Bruce and Kirsten. Tammy is very knowledgeable and easy to work with. Although competition has been limited lately, Duguay was one of 7 skaters in the junior class at Portage on Saturday, November 7th. Fans were limited to 1 per skater and the judging was done remotely. In 2019, Annika was the recipient of the Competitive Skater of the Year award from Skate Manitoba. She also enjoys fastball at second base or shortstop with the Cougars. This summer, she played for coach Angie Gunnison in Glenborough. Cross-country running has also been a challenge Annika has undertaken, with competition at the provincials in grade 9 and 11 to 11. The Spruce Woods site with its hills was especially tough. During the summer, she was employed as a cashier at the swimming pool and does some family management for nurse practitioner Sherry Ray. Future plans involve continuing her education at Brandon University with pharmacy or nursing as her possible goals. And Gladwin Scott's article here and there. Luke Robson, age 16, Carberry grade 11 honor student who is a forward with the under 18 AAA Southwest Cougars, was selected as the league's player of the week. He had 1 goal and half a dozen assists in Thompson in a pair of victories against Norman North Stars. Carberry Skating Club board members are Tanya Polasek, President, Kim Reynolds, Vice President, Amy Baker, Treasurer, Jillian Nicol-Godet, Assessment Chair, Sarah Graham, Publicity, Laura Eli, Fundraising Chair, and Roxy Nishaw, Membership Chair. We are excited to offer our members an activity designed for social distancing and want to thank the community for their continued support of our program. Best wishes for a speedy recovery to Alex Christensen, who had major surgery at the Health Science Center to deal with a brain aneurysm. Alex was rushed to Brandon and then to Winnipeg. He had nothing but admiration for the 4 surgeons who met the ambulance and rushed him into surgery. Alex is well known in the area for his leadership with the Carberry Fair and for his sleigh rides. Carberry Personal Care Home has received its all-season visitation pod. The visiting shelter has space for 1 resident and up to 5 visitors. The Manitoba government has invested a total of $17.9 million for visiting shelters in the province. PCL, a Manitoba-based construction company, has been awarded the contract. Due to COVID-19, visiting privileges have been greatly restricted. The electrical and mechanical systems are designed for all-year use. Entry to the visitation pod is by special arrangement and from the west side of PCH. Minnedosa has also received its visitation pod, and others will arrive soon. Both the pod and the attractive stairway were quickly put into place. The Pilot Mound Arena has a new digital score clock that faces fans in all directions. The Collins family donated the clock in tribute to their parents, Arnold and Eileen Collins. Curl Manitoba Executive Director Craig Baker stated, the 12-rink provincial Scotties will be hosted at East St. Paul Club January 19th to the 24th, and the Viterra Provincial Men's 32-rink Championship will be held at Selkirk Curling Club February 2nd to the 7th. This year's grand prize for the Neepawa and District Medical Committee's annual Farm and Leisure Lotto will be staying close to home. Neepawa's Ashton Porak and her father, Dennis Tiller, were the holders of the winning ticket for the annual fundraiser. The pair chose to take the check for $100,000 and received their winnings on Friday, November 6th from Medical Committee Lottery Chairperson Mary Ellen Clark. Tiller, along with Porak, has supported the lottery by purchasing a ticket in each of the last 4 years. He said that when he first received the call from his daughter that they were the big prize winners, it took a few minutes for it to actually register. My daughter phoned me about the winning ticket and I really couldn't understand her at first, stated Tiller with a chuckle. It took a while to sink in, but we got things figured out. Porak added that the family is glad to be able to support a local cause like the Farm and Leisure Lotto each and every year, whether they won or not. As for where the money might be going, both Porak and Tiller said there are no specific purchases in mind just yet. After the check presentation was completed, Clark noted to the Banner and Press that while it's great that they received support from the entire Westman region, it's nice to see people with local roots win the big prize. Meanwhile, the 50-50 prize amount was won by Joyce Mott of Brandon, and that check presentation for $57,555 was made on Tuesday, November 3rd. The proceeds from the lottery helped to fund ongoing improvements to Neepawa's medical services. And in this picture here, the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation wrapped up their 25 Days of Giving event this week, with their last 3 draws taking place Monday, November 9th and Tuesday, November 10th. Monday's draw resulted in a win of $500 for the Neepawa 4-H Beef Club. The final 2 draws on Tuesday saw the Neepawa and District Fine Arts Festival receive the grand prize of $5,000 and the Neepawa Golf and Country Club win $750. Pictured from left are our Beautiful Plains Community Foundation members Ann Kaharski, Brent Sorensen, and Ashley McCoggan. And these 2 pages are dedicated to the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation as they celebrate their 25th anniversary milestone. And there's a special thank you to a certain somebody. As the foundation celebrates its 25th anniversary, the past and current board members and staff say goodbye to one of our founding board members, Susan Drayson. After attending an information session held by the Thomas Sill Foundation with Marlene Sayateki, Susan was inspired to form a committee and work towards the formation of the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, Inc. In 1995, the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation Board held their first information sessions introducing the foundation to our community. Hours of volunteering, fundraising, advocating by Susan and countless board members, volunteers, and with the amazing support of donors, the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation can celebrate distributing over $2.4 million in grants and scholarships and having endowment funds over $3.9 million. The foundation board and staff would like to thank Susan for her contribution to the foundation and our community. Time is fleeting, but the impact we make within that time is eternal, by Orly Wabaugh. This quote exemplifies Susan's impact to the Community Plains Foundation and our community. And these pictures just show a few of the many outstanding fundraising events that have happened in the community of Neepawa and the surrounding area. Refreshing a landmark in Neepawa. The Neepawa Roxy Theatre has undergone a makeover recently. Throughout the summer, contractors had been working on the theatre's facade renewal project. Included in the renewal project was refacing the front of the building as well as refurbishing the marquee. The refurbishment of the marquee included new roofing, soffitting, wiring, and bulbs. The signs on the front and east side were also replaced. The whole project was anticipated to cost approximately $42,000. Most of that amount was covered by a number of grants, including from the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, the Province of Manitoba's Build 150 Fund, the Town of Neepawa's Storefront Improvement Incentive Program, and Red River Mutual Insurance's Spruce Up Your Story grant. The contractors who worked on the project included Kerf Construction, John's Electric, Provo Signs, and Finney's Stucco. Looks great. Sports section, a weekend to forget. It appears as though the planned quarter season break in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League schedule has arrived at the perfect time for Neepawa's Junior A Hockey Club. The team has fallen on some tough times as of late, having lost 4 straight games, including a pair to Waiwasakapo Wolverines recently. Neepawa fell 4-3 at the Yellowhead Arena on Friday, November the 6th. Over the first 42 minutes of action in Friday's game at the Yellowhead, Neepawa was unable to register any type of offensive presence. That left them trailing Wayway 4-0 early in the third period. A late game push generated 3 goals from the home side, but it still wasn't enough for Neepawa as they lost 4-3. Cooper Morris, Will Hyatt, and Rylan Gunnison scored the late game goals for the natives. For Waiwasakapo, Conrad Phillips scored a pair of goals, while Tyler Zimmer and former Natives and Portage Terriers forward Mackenzie Belinsky scored the other 2 for the visitors on this night. The next night at the Waiwasakapo Arena complex, Neepawa was bested 6-1. A second period goal from Will Hyatt was the only sign of life on the score sheet for the natives that game. Wayway's James Nee led the way for the Wolverines with a pair of goals. These losses for Neepawa, combined with the pair of defeats the previous weekend to the Portage Terriers, has the team's regular season record sitting at 2-6-2 on the year and in 4th place in the MJ Interior Division. History with the Beautiful Plains Museum, the Canadian National Railway in Neepawa. These photos provide a glimpse at what the railway system at Neepawa was like back in the day. At one point, a pile and frame timber railway went over Stony Creek in Neepawa on the now abandoned CNR subdivision. The trestle bridge was originally built by the CNR and was located about a quarter mile south of the Neepawa town center, just southwest of Park Lake, according to the Manitoba Historical Society. It was nearly 500 feet long and 60 feet high. By 1974, the northmost 2/3 of the bridge was covered by earth, and permission to abandon the line was given in 1978. So this is the picture. Back in the day, the Beautiful Plains Museum was a CNR train station, and the station's water tower is visible in the background. This undated photo shows crews in the midst of building the CNR trestle bridge at Neepawa. Tents, people, and wagons bring into perspective the scale of the project. Now for the Spruce Plains RCMP report, dated November the 8th. During the week of November 2nd to November 8th, Spruce Plains RCMP dealt with 59 police activities. On November the 2nd, RCMP responded to a break and enter in Neepawa, which was later determined to be unfounded. Police responded to an assault in Minnedosa, where the complainant did not wish to pursue charges. Police also responded to 2 suspicious person reports in Neepawa, attended the scene of a semi-truck which lost its back trailer in Minnedosa, and retrieved a prohibited weapon in Rapid City. November 3rd, RCMP received a report of gunshots being fired in Kelwood. The matter is still under investigation. Police received a report of a hit and run to a vehicle in Rapid City and a found bike in Minnedosa. The owner has not yet been located. November 4th, RCMP received a report of fraud in Gladstone, a hit and run to a vehicle in Neepawa, and a report of theft in Minnedosa. All matters have been dealt with accordingly. November 5th, RCMP responded to a report of an injured deer in the RM of North Cypress Langford. After searching the roadway and ditches, the deer was not found. Police received and responded to another report of gunshots being fired in Kelwood, which was determined to be fireworks. November the 6th, RCMP responded to a report of a stolen purse at a business in Minnedosa. Police patrolled the area and located and arrested the suspect. The purse was also located and returned to the owner. Police responded to a commercial alarm in Minnedosa that was determined to be a false alarm, as well as a break-and-enter in Minnedosa where there was insufficient evidence to proceed. November 7th, RCMP responded to a well-being check on a person in Neepawa who was found to be fine and unharmed. November the 8th, RCMP responded to threats being uttered in Gladstone. The suspect was arrested and released on an appearance notice. Police received a report of a stolen vehicle, which was later located. The report is still under investigation. Police provided assistance to paramedics in the municipality of Westlake Gladstone and received a complaint of harassment in Neepawa. RCMP conducted 37 traffic endorsement actions during this reporting period. If you have any information about these crimes or any other crimes, please contact your local RCMP office or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the Neepawa and Minnedosa RCMP detachments advise they will be limiting front counter services at the detachments until further notice. We request that you contact each detachment at Neepawa 204-476-7340 or Minnedosa 204-867-2916 to inquire about criminal record checks or to file a report. Leave a message if needed and it will be checked the following business day. Do not leave a message if you require immediate police assistance. You must dial Neepawa 204-476-7338 or Minnedosa 204-867-2751 or 911 to have a police officer respond to you promptly. A profitable year for NACTV. Neepawa Access Community Television, or NACTV, is making money, and that's very good news for the station's long-term viability. Board member Dave Bennett confirmed at NACTV's annual general meeting on Monday, November 9th, that total income for the year was $156,229.11, while overall expenses were $118,595.03. That means the community-owned and operated television station has generated a net income over the 2019-2020 fiscal year of $37,634.08. A large portion of profits this year could be contributed to royalties NACTV has received through the Canadian Broadcast Rights Agency. Between September 2019 and August 2020, the station earned $65,702.90. Bennett said that number is a little bit more than what they'll normally get on this annual basis due to receiving royalties for previous years of programming. He did note, however, it's still going to be a solid and consistent revenue generator for years to come. We belong to the Canadian Association of Community Television Users and Stations, an organization of independent TV stations. And in that group, there was a member who informed us of the CBRA program that pays a fee to stations for every piece of local programming they produce, explained Bennett. We're receiving money for past years of programming right now, so the numbers are a little bigger than they'll be in a normal year, but it's still a new and consistent revenue stream for us going ahead for as long as it's operating. With government programs, you never know, but it should average out to NACTV being paid about $7 or $8 an hour to show its local programming. Bennett also indicated that increased support for Bigger Bingo was also a contributing factor in the increased revenue. The number of bingo cards sold per week has increased from 55 to 60 to 110 to 115 a week. Bennett acknowledged that more people being at home due to COVID-19 is likely a reason for the boost. He's hopeful, however, that when the day comes when COVID is under control, they'll be able to maintain a portion of those numbers. During his presentation, Bennett also took some time to thank and acknowledge all the volunteers for NACTV whose efforts with events like Bigger Bingo, Neepawa Natives hockey games, and church services are so appreciated. In his report, NACTV General Manager Ken Waddell explained that while the station's outlook is moving in the right direction, there are still issues that will need to be addressed. He said the purchase of some more modern equipment and hiring of an additional staff person should be priorities. The final matter of the evening was the election of the NACTV board. Members Dave Bennett, Myra Bennett, Bill Sirik, John Drinkwater, and Rain Pryor will be returning to the board for another year. Recent yearly income for NACTV. For 2020, $37,634.08. For 2019, $9,261.16. 2018, $19,000.09. 2017 was only $840, and 2016 was $12,760. A random act of kindness was done as the paper was being prepared ahead of the early deadline on Monday, November the 9th. The Beautiful Plains Community Foundation provided the Neepawa Banner and Press with a $200 sum to donate to a nonprofit of its choosing. The topic of which organization will benefit from the $200 is to be discussed among the staff. Pictured left to right is Ken Waddell, owner of the Neepawa Banner and Press, the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation Bear, and Foundation member Ann Kaharski. And the last article of the paper today is titled Handy Van Usage in Neepawa Down Sharply. Updates from Neepawa Town Council. The situation surrounding COVID-19 has had a dramatic impact on the number of people using the Neepawa District Handy Transit Service. Councillor Mariah Constanchuk recently reported to Council Administration for the town of Neepawa that the numbers are down year over year by about 74%. As of September 2020, the total number of trips for the service for this year were 2,481. At the same time, in September of 2019, the amount of uses of the service were sitting at 9,727, a decrease of 7,246 trips. Kostenchuk noted that COVID-19 is the primary contributing factor for the drop. She added that the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, HAND, the Community Dinner, and Boston Pizza Neepawa have assisted with additional contributions to the service this year. Unfortunately, Handy Transit is still projecting a financial loss for the end of the year of a little over $25,000. The service is exploring options to raise money to make up the shortfall. The Town of Neepawa and Manitoba Infrastructure and Transportation, or MIT, have renewed their snow removal deal. MIT will pay the town $9,317.43 on Mountain Avenue, PTH 16 to Commerce Street to remove snow from the road. The Home Assistance Neepawa and District Inc., or HAND, program for seniors from January to September 2020 has prepared and distributed 4,337 meals, on par with the 2019 numbers. The public skating program at the Yellowhead Center has been postponed until further notice. The Prairie Mountain Health Region's shift from yellow to orange COVID restrictions has been cited as the reason for the decision. Note, this information was made public before the provincial shift into red restrictions. And that is it today for the Neepawa Banner and Press. I'm Gwen Jacobsen, and we'll see you next week.